Hello, my friends, and welcome to the latest spin. I'm Mike Spinner, Student Athlete World USA. It's Thursday. It's football season. It's the fall. If you live in the Northeast, it's in the 50s outside. This is it. This is the best time of year. I'm in a hoodie, and we're getting closer to when all the major sports are happening at the same time. And just an amazing time of year. Hope everyone's doing well. But it's also September 11th, and what a crazy 24 hours or so it's been in this world. And without getting into the politics of things, which I never will in this space, something I say every year, and I've done it on this show before, is obviously on September 11th, we remember those who gave their lives in 2001 and the tragedy of that day. And on a day like today, where there's just so much division and anger, no matter what side you fall on, maybe one day we'll remember what it was like on September 12th, 2001, where for a small glimmer, a small segment of our history where we all came together and realized that being a citizen of this country is such a wonderful thing. And no matter what side of the aisle you are, no matter how you feel about the state of affairs in this world, let's just not forget that we are Americans and we're in this together. And maybe one day we'll as a people, embrace that again, because I don't turn on the news right now, and nor do I have any interest in it, because we're just too much hatred and anger out there, and things are too good. That's how I feel, and that's all I'm going to say about that. But in terms of Student Athlete World USA, putting USA in our title, I think means a little bit more in a day like today. So I was very proud to be an American today, and I did the job that I love with the people that I care about, and spent some time with my family and got to watch some football, because that's what being an American is. And of course, remembered those who we lost on 9/11, a few of which were friends of mine. But anyway, to business. So we're in that interesting time of year where right now, I'll be honest, the interviews are slower than what what they're going to be. This is kind of the calm before the storm. But what's happening right now is the applications are starting to pour in again, and the way it's kind of a lagging indicator. Applications on one week means interviews a week and a half later, which means we're about 2 weeks away from seeing a bunch of roster spots get filled again. So for those of you interested in our tours, no matter the sport, no matter the tour, get your application in, because we're going to start filling roster spots again real soon. We normally slow down a little bit early September from our summer rush, which we did. And now, like I said, the applications are steamrolling in, which means the interviews aren't far behind, which means the roster spots are going to start to go again for all of our sports. So, get those applications in. And something I love about this company, and I talk about it a lot, and I'm going to talk about it again, is it's one of those things where the summer of 2025 will go down as a really successful summer from multiple fronts in terms of number of travelers, number of tours, success of our teams, and variety of sports. We added ice hockey this year, and it went really well. And we just today really started a big push to get a great ice hockey group to United World Games in 2026. But what I love about this company is our desire to constantly look at growth, whether we achieve it or not. So, like this year, if you're men's basketball, we have the Balkans Express Tour going to Albania. And again, I said before, one of the things I learned about Albania during the process of coordinating this touring opportunity is how amazing Albania is. Like, I'd gladly go on that tour. And as a little hint, that tour is pretty significantly cheaper than our typical tour because of the setup. So that is an effort at growth. Today we had another meeting, and I'm not willing to announce any news yet. Tim and I have some homework to do, but here we are on September 11th. So we're, a few months in to rostering for 2026. We might be adding another tour, and a really neat one too, one that I'm really excited about. So we're never satisfied with what we have, and I like that, because the easy way to do this job, be like, hey, 2025 was great. Let's just do the same tours and get more people this time around. But no, because of our commitment to you, we're always looking to get bigger and better. And I think those of you watching this who are kind of on that on-ramp, like, hey, maybe I want to do this, maybe I don't. Just know, not only do you want to do this, but you want to do this every year, because every year I feel like there's going to be something new and exciting. Lacrosse being an example. That Lisboa Lacrosse Cup tour we do is awesome. I did it. I coached it. I hope to coach it again one day. I love that tour. And what do? We added a second lacrosse tour this year, a Lax in Paradise tour to Costa Rica, which I think is going to be a hero of a tour. So we are always looking to take this great company we have and do it better, not for us, but for you. And I'm really excited to say that, on September 11th, we had another meeting about the summer of 2026. And we've had emails about possibly another different tour for the summer of 2027. And we are looking to grow because we want as many of you as possible to go to as many great places as we can. So the lesson is, get on board with us now while the roster spots are still open, but keep an eye on what we do, because there could be bigger and better coming as early as right now, if not certainly for the next year. And now, what in the world this week? What in the world this week is sponsored by COVID. So true story, and I've always been a COVID realist. It's a virus. You get sick, and then you get better. And obviously, there was a time it was a really scary chapter in our history, right? But I've had the vid a handful of times now. And on a personal note, when I get it, I get it. All right. I celebrate what COVID can be. And I had it, and man, did it pack a wallop. I still cannot believe how we are, 5 years into this virus and treatments. And it's still like, if it hits you hard enough, you go and just lay there and just think to yourself, when is this going to end? And I'm happy to be doing this video tonight, because a few days ago I couldn't have been doing it. But I got to tell you, COVID's out there, and I'm calling it a sponsor because it took me away from this job for a few days, and nothing has taken me away from this job at all for the last 4 years. But the vid did. Fortunately, I'm feeling a lot better now, so I can do this video. But man, if you get it, just take it seriously, not like crazy like we were, but just know it could still throw quite the uppercut. It certainly did for me. So what in the world this week? And I think if you know me, you know where I'm going. The New York Football Giants, oh my God. As I'm presenting this video, the Washington Commanders, and I almost called them the Redskins, but they are the Commanders. The last I checked, they're getting blown out by Green Bay, and they're not looking too good. So Tim Ryerson's in a good mood tonight, because his Packers might be the best team in the NFC this season. They look great. But I can't help but think, how is this Washington team that can't play dead against Green Bay, how did they dominate the Giants? And it comes down to one thing. So the whole storyline, the narrative behind the Giants this year is, there's no more Daniel Jones. He's gone. He's in Indianapolis. And they got Russell Wilson, a proven winner, a multi-time All-Pro, a Super Bowl champion. And even though he's not the Russell Pro he was during his prime years in Seattle, he's still a darn good quarterback. And he was going to be the answer and at least make them more competitive. Maybe they can shock the world and be a 500 team and show some great improvement. And what did they do? They had a great preseason. I was at one of those games. They looked really good and went out against Washington Sunday and completely laid an egg. Like it was clear 3 minutes into the game that the Giants were ill-prepared. And what it comes down to is, I don't care if you clone Joe Montana, who, with all due respect to Tom Brady, in my mind, Joe Montana was the best quarterback of my lifetime. in the NFL. If you clone Joe Montana at his best and you put him behind this Giants offensive line, he's going to look only slightly better than I would look as a Giants quarterback. And what happened on Sunday was Russell Wilson had zero time to throw. He would drop back. It felt like the Commanders' defensive front was in the backfield before Russell Wilson had the ball. It looked like they were going offsides on every snap. And for the New York Giants, it's real simple. Fans are like, oh, Jackson Dart, he looked really good in preseason. You got to start Jackson Dart. You got to start Jackson Dart. What? Jackson Dart, what? So he can have half a second to throw a football? It doesn't matter who you put back there. If you can't block for your quarterback, you can't give him time to throw. It doesn't matter. So here you had the Giants had the entire offseason to figure out their offensive line, and they still can't block the quarterback. It's like watching a bullfight. Olay, just let him through. And so I don't want the Giants to start Jackson Dart. And look, on the flip side, you have Daniel Jones, who went to Indianapolis and his first start looked like a future Hall of Famer. How's that happen? Oh, he had time to throw. That's why. And I'm not a Daniel Jones fan. I never was. I thought it was a terrible draft pick. But my feelings about offensive production in the National Football League always has, always will be, the offensive line makes a good quarterback into a great quarterback. And if you give a good quarterback time to throw, they become a great quarterback. And for the last several years now, since Eli Manning, the Giants have not been able to provide their quarterback time to throw the football. And as a result, they become one of the worst teams in the league. So they spent all this time during the offseason revamping, retooling, Russell Wilson, some other weapons, have a great defensive front who can get to the quarterback. But if you don't give your quarterback time to operate the offense, they're not going to be able to operate the offense. So for the Giants, who now go to Dallas this weekend before hosting Kansas City next weekend, so look, I'm sorry, it's going to be 0-3, they haven't learned their lesson. And that's the story of the New York Football Giants. And what's going to happen is, this coach is dead man walking. His GM, he's got 1 foot off the plank. Like the Giants, bottom line, we have not hit rock bottom. This is going to be a miserable season because the most important position on the field, the quarterback, does not have time to throw. You want to be Russell Wilson? You want to be Jackson Dart? You want to be Jameis Winston? You want to trade back for Daniel Jones? It doesn't matter. Less than a second to throw the ball means you can't throw the ball. And that's what's happening with these Giants. It's going to be a long season, my friends. And I hate to say it because I love this team with all my heart, and I'm always going to be a fan, but it's painful to watch. On the other note, for What in the World, Tim Ryerson, if you're still watching, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is Wisconsin, Alabama this week, Tim. A little Big Ten SEC. Am I right? I got to tell you, I've been talking trash about the Badgers since I met you. Here's a real good opportunity to put me in my place, Tim. So, you know me, I'm an SEC football fan. So roll Tide. But if they don't roll, I get to eat some crow. So let's see what happens this week. And that's it for the latest spin this week. As always, great fun. And as always, there's only one way to do the coolest thing you're ever going to do in sports. Go to studentathleteworld.com, complete your application, interview with me, and pack your bags. We'll see everyone next week. Have a great week, everyone.